Once upon a time, in a quiet European village where narrow lanes smelled of fresh soil, ripe tomatoes, and simple village life, there lived a man named Martin Hale. Martin was 57 years old, his back slightly bent from decades of lifting wooden crates, his hands rough like tree bark, and his face marked with lines that told stories of survival rather than happiness. Martin was a vegetable seller.
Every morning before sunrise, while the village still slept, Martin pushed his old metal cart toward the small local market. The air was cold, and his breath came out in clouds. He bought vegetables in bulk: potatoes, onions, tomatoes, spinach, carrots, anything cheap enough to promise profit. But Martin carried a secret, one that weighed heavier than the crates on his cart. He was dishonest. To most customers, Martin looked like a hard-working, tired old man trying to earn an honest living. But behind his polite smile was a habit that slowly poisoned his soul. He mixed fresh vegetables with rotten ones. He sprayed water to make wilted leaves look alive. He weighed less than promised and charged more than fair. He justified it to himself every single day. "Everyone does it," he would mutter while arranging the vegetables. "Life is hard. If I don't cheat, someone else will." And it worked. Martin earned more money than other sellers on his street. While they struggled to pay rent, Martin had savings hidden under his bed. He ate well. He dressed better. But behind closed doors, something darker followed him: guilt, fear, and a strange emptiness that no amount of money could fill. Customers came and went. Some complained, some never returned. But Martin didn't care. Money mattered more than trust. At least that's what he believed. Until one ordinary morning turned into the day that would change his future forever. That morning began like any other. Martin woke up before dawn, his knees aching as he stood. He drank cheap black coffee, put on his worn jacket, and walked toward the market. The sky was gray, heavy with clouds. Something felt off, but Martin ignored it. He always ignored feelings. At the market, he bought vegetables at a discount, too ripe, too soft, already beginning to rot. He smiled when the wholesaler lowered the price. "Good deal for you," the wholesaler said. "Yes," Martin replied, his eyes shining. "Very good." By mid-morning, Martin's stall was busy. Housewives, restaurant workers, elderly men, everyone needed vegetables. Martin worked fast, mixing good produce with bad, hiding rotten tomatoes at the bottom of the bags. Then it happened. A delivery truck reversed too quickly on the narrow street. Someone shouted, someone screamed. Martin turned his head just for a second. The truck hit his cart. Crates flew into the air. Vegetables scattered across the road. Martin was thrown backward, his head hitting the stone pavement. Pain exploded through his body. The world went dark. When Martin opened his eyes, he was in a hospital bed. White walls, beeping machines, a sharp pain in his chest and leg. He tried to move, but his body refused. "You're lucky to be alive," a doctor said calmly. Martin had suffered broken ribs, a fractured leg, and a concussion. He would not walk for months. His cart was destroyed. His vegetables, thousands worth, were ruined. But that wasn't the worst part. The truck driver's insurance investigated the accident. Witnesses spoke. Customers spoke too, about the rotten vegetables, about cheating, about complaints Martin had ignored. The investigation turned against him. Martin lost his savings to medical bills and fines. His stall license was suspended.
The money under his bed disappeared within weeks. For the first time in his life, Martin was truly alone. No stall, no cart, no income, only pain. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Martin sat by the hospital window, watching the village move on without him. Sellers shouted prices, customers laughed, life continued. But Martin was stuck with pain, stuck with regret. At night, sleep avoided him. His mind replayed memories like a cruel film: angry customers, wasted vegetables, dishonest waits. "I did this," he whispered one night, tears rolling down his cheeks. "I did this to myself." For the first time, Martin admitted the truth. The accident was not just bad luck, it was a result of greed, a result of dishonesty, a result of choices. That realization hurt more than his broken bones. One afternoon, an old man named Edward, a volunteer who helped patients, sat beside Martin's bed. "You look like a man carrying heavy regret," Edward said gently. Martin laughed bitterly. "I deserve it." Edward shook his head. "Pain can either destroy you or teach you. The choice is yours." Those words stayed with Martin. The choice is yours. That night, Martin made a decision, a single decision. He would change, not because life forced him, but because he wanted to live without shame. Recovery was slow, painful, humbling. Martin learned to walk again using a cane. He learned patience. He learned how fragile life truly was. During recovery, he helped hospital staff, cleaned rooms, listened to others' stories. For the first time, he felt useful without earning money. Months later, when his suspension ended, Martin returned to the market. But this time, he was different. He bought fewer vegetables, only fresh ones. He threw away anything questionable. He used accurate scales. He spoke honestly. At first, customers were suspicious. "This is the same man," they whispered. Martin didn't argue. He accepted their doubt. Slowly, something unexpected happened. People noticed. "This spinach is fresh. These tomatoes last longer. This man is honest now." Trust returned, and with trust came loyalty. Martin earned less money at first, but he slept better. Months passed. His reputation grew. Restaurants started buying from him. Customers recommended him. His small stall became busy again. But this time, there was no fear, no guilt, no rotten vegetables hidden at the bottom. Years later, Martin owned 3 clean stalls run by young workers he treated fairly. He donated unsold vegetables to shelters. He smiled more. At 65, Martin was not just wealthy, he was peaceful. Sometimes, Martin would stand by the street where the accident happened. He would close his eyes and breathe. "That moment saved me," he would say softly. Because one accident, one painful lesson, and one single decision had changed his future forever. Sometimes life doesn't change us gently. Sometimes it breaks us first, so we can finally see who we were meant to become.